SH Monsterarts Battra Special Color Edition. This is a set of both the larva and adult forms, which came out in October 2017 as a web exclusive. I loved it when I first got it, but can it hold up to a critical eye? Let's find out. First, we'll look at the larva. The color scheme is meant to represent his attack on Nagoya. For the most part, it has roughly the same coloration as the original release. The noticeable change is the addition of gray paint portraying dust on his legs, tail, tusks, and around the horn. The paint is applied very well. Not quite as bright as the first release, but that seems to be the intent due to the dusty paint. So the two yellow lines on each side are a bit dull. What? How did I miss that for 9 months? Thanks for the help. Don't mention it. Sorry about that, we'll get back to the review now. So there's that QC issue. I don't know how common it was, but if you also have this set, probably double check the larva. Anyway, on to articulation. We have the jaws on hinges, the little spikes around the mouth move a little bit, but force isn't recommended. The tusks also move a decent amount, about as much as in the movie. At the back of the head, we again have one segment on a hinge that allows Battra to look further upward, and of all his legs, only the two largest are on ball joints and have a good range of movement. Lastly, the rest of his body segments are connected by ball joints, but because of the design, there isn't much horizontal movement. For accessories, we get the larval form's beam in 2 parts, along with an impact effect piece. You can fire it downward, upward, or really whichever direction you'd like. Now on to the adult form. This color scheme is based on the night battle in Yokohama, which, if you think about it, if Battra Adult almost exclusively appeared at night, why do we need this? The biggest difference is the horns, which are very yellow. The paint is applied nicely, but I still want to get the original release because I simply prefer the translucent horns on that one. On the back, there's a very small amount of paint applied, so it's mostly just black. I don't know if this was a design choice or a QC issue, but I don't see it as a huge issue since I'm not displaying this where I'm looking at it from this angle. The wings, well, the wings are pretty nice. On the underside, we again have very faint red and yellow paint over the black, and a shot of the underside of the wings, which still look fine. One thing to fault the wings for, though, is, at least on mine, there's this weird strand of rogue plastic, but it's hard to notice if I'm not looking for it. There's also a small flub on the front of one wing, but again, it's hard to notice unless I'm looking at it very close up. Articulation on the adult form is pretty good. The wings have a nice range of movement on their hinges, with no issues of paint sticking the wings together or breakage. The legs are also pretty well articulated. This was actually the first time I've bothered to move the claws, so those joints were pretty stiff. One did pop off, but that was because I manhandled it. Given what I've heard about the problems with the original release, it would seem that Tamashi has corrected the leg issue without making the joints so stiff it's impossible to move. Mothra! Oh, excuse me. Totally not a spoiler for my Mothra special color review. Moving on, we have the thorax on ball joints. Again, mine's pretty stiff here from me just not posing it. I actually just really haven't moved most of Battra's joints, just took it out of the box and displayed it pretty much. But we get the head loosened up here with good movement, the jaws can open pretty wide, and nothing else really moves on the face. Here we see the thorax finally loosen up, but it's only flexible moving downward. Again, the articulation here is restricted by the design. So, is this set worth picking up? Overall, I would say yes. It does have its flaws, but it's nowhere near the worst SH Monsterarts figure to come out. They stay mostly faithful to the promotional shots in terms of paint. And aside from a sizable chunk of the larva just missing paint, I'm pretty satisfied with these two. If you want it, I say go for it.